again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, Vermont Dog Trainer. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, and nutrition and wellness of your dog, and brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. If it eats and grows, Guys can feed it. And we're back with the trainer, Ian Grant. And this week, the topic is, can my dog sleep in bed with me? Now, I think you should have rephrased that, because that's the easy part. Can my dog sleep in bed with me? Yes. I think the question should be, should my dog sleep in bed with me?
This is the $10 million question.
We should get 10 million different answers, probably.
Yeah. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I heard this question in my career,
Yeah. So, all right. So let's get into it then. So, is it a personal thing, or are we holding the dog back from its actual discipline?
I think what we have to look at first is your dog in general and their behavior. If you have a dog that is struggling with behaviors of lunging, growling, even guarding food or toys or that type of thing, then it's not something that I would allow the dog to do up on the bed, because they're making those decisions that are trying to create ownership of items or space or whatnot. So the bed can be a very, very, very powerful place for a dog to be. I've worked with a lot of couples who, when one spouse gets into the bed and the dog gets in, they get comfortable, and then the next spouse comes into bed, that's the spouse that gets growled at and barked at and lunged at. And so,
not to mention just trying to find room to get into the bed.
Then there's that. Absolutely. So as long as your dog is not exhibiting any of those behaviors, I have zero problem with the dog being in bed. However, there's always a little asterisk that goes along with this.
Right.
I want everybody to get into bed and get comfortable, and then invite the dog up.
Okay.
What I don't want is for the dog to jump into bed first, splay across the bed, take up as much room as possible.
So you've seen my bedroom then.
And then, then I don't want to see people have to crawl in and just try to find some sort of shape to be in where we don't disturb the dog.
Right, right. So in other words, who's in charge here?
Yes. Yeah. I can tell you that May, sometimes our little Frenchie, sleeps in bed with us. She is like a 25-pound dumbbell in our bed. Like if she gets into a spot, you are trying to move a lot of weight. But you know what? I do not feel sorry for moving her, because this is my bed and I get to lie down and sleep the way I want to. So we have to keep that kind of stuff in mind.
Yeah. Now, there's one thing that we are guilty of when we have Tika in the bed, and that is the cat. And I think we talked about this a while back, where the cat wants to come into the room and Tika won't allow her. So really, what we should be doing, if I can answer my own question here, is that I probably should make her get down and make some structure where if you don't think the cat should be in here, then you're not going to be in here.
Well, I mean, and something like that is not that difficult, because if Tika reacts towards your cat, okay, she has to get down, and we're going to go get the cat, and we're going to bring the cat in bed with us.
Right.
And then you can invite Tika up, but it's not up to her, to dictate that.
Yeah.
I mean, they get along already, right?
Yeah.
So you have zero problem with that, which that's usually half the battle. So it's just kind of skewing the boundary a little bit into your favor.
Except when the dog is under the covers and the cat doesn't know it, jumps on the bed.
Oh, boy.
And World War II comes out again, and Tika scares her out, and we've had some issues with that before as well. And, of course, the other issue that we've been kind of having is that in the middle of the night, she'll get too hot. She'll be under the covers, and then so all of a sudden she gets out there and she flings the covers off while she gets out. My wife and I are like freezing to death because of that, and then she wants to get back in and she crawls back in again.
Yes.
And this goes on for sometimes it doesn't go on at all. Sometimes it happens 2 or 3 times. So should we be saying, okay, Tika, you get off the bed, now you have to stay off? Is that what you do?
I wouldn't be worried about that part of it, no. I mean, if dogs get hot, like Gemma and Fitz, when they're in our room, they move around a lot in the night from being on a rug to being on the flooring that might be, or near the window where it might be a little cooler. Yeah. So they move around a lot. I mean, I don't remember the last time that when we went to bed, Gemma was in the same exact spot and position when we woke up.
Right.
They just move around a lot. They have to shake, reset, that kind of thing. So not the end of the world.
Yeah. Sometimes my wife has to. Back when I was when I was doing this job on a regular basis, I'd be gone already early.
Yeah.
And my wife would have to wake her up because she just didn't want it. I mean, my wife's getting dressed, and Tika says, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, especially as they get older, too. It takes a little bit more and sleeps a little bit longer.
Beginning to wonder whose bedroom I've been staying in lately. So long, but you should have some structure. I think the whole bottom line with this, and of course, then it's kind of a personal. Some people say, nope, the bed is mine, but others think of it.
Yeah, as long as you have structure, it's totally fine. Yes.
Okay, all right. So don't talk to me about that. That's for sure. Back with our dog fact of the week in just a moment here on Talking Dogs. Back with Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, Vermont Dog Trainer, and you can go to that website, vermontdogtrainer.com, to find out more about his programs and check out the podcasts, including past Talking Dog shows and some others that Ian has on that site. So that's vermontdogtrainer.com. So what's our dog fact of the week this week?
This is a surprising one and not overly happy either, but it's one of those things, and hopefully we'll turn it educational here in a second. So there's 10 million pets that are missing worldwide, and less than 20% of them will be reunited with their original owner.
Wow. Now, when I saw that, I thought that 20% seemed to be kind of low. Now, around here, of course, on the LVB, people are always calling in our pets are missing, and it seems like we were fairly successful. It seems like more than 20%, so I found that number kind of interestingly low.
Yeah, it's interesting also because of the fact, well, number one, let's look at this from a proactive point of view. We need callers on with dogs' names, phone numbers, ID tags. Microchipped. There are definitely ways that we can prevent that part of it. You know, dogs that are running away, getting out of fences, leashes that are getting dropped. I mean, that stuff happens. I think it will always happen. But we have to just be preventative on, how we do this, how we take care of our dogs and such. But again, nobody's perfect. Doors are left open, fences, gates are left open, that kind of thing. So,
sometimes when they want to get out, they find a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're animals, right? So if they see something that they want to chase, they're going to chase it, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah. I kind of thought this number was a little bit low, too. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, that's a lot of statistics to go over here. But for sure, around here, I think we do a pretty good job. It seems like there's Facebook pages. Obviously, the radio station here does a great job of it.
Front page forum. And,
yes.
There's a lot. That's the advantage of having so much social media is for something like this.
And I think also just with the overall size of our community, I think it helps too. You know, we're not in a metropolis here
where the numbers would certainly be low.
Exactly. And I think we have a good system of where dogs can go and animal control officers and such. So I think we do a good job around here. But I think really the part that comes out of this is just make sure there's valid contact information on the dogs, one way or the other.
Right. Yep. There's nothing more emotional than your pet getting away and not knowing where it is. That's just heartbreaking.
I mean, back in the day, I lost Maddie for a little while because she was headed to a groomer's, and she got a little nicked by the electric fence, and it spooked her. But I mean, we got her, but it's a scary time.
Sure is. Well, next week, the topic is the power of a green banana. Oh, we're back to nutrition again. I know we've talked about pumpkin and other foods in the past. I don't think we've dealt with the green banana before.
No, this was just brand new research that came out a couple of weeks ago. And so, of course, I have to share it with our listeners and tell them what it's all about.
All right. Next week on Talking Dogs with Ian Grant. For Guys Farm and Yard with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans, if it eats and grows, Guys can feed it. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland LaJoy, and we are Talking Dogs.